All right, I'm trying to get prepared, but it was super hard because my ball was falling, my pen's not working. It's too much to think about, so I'm just gonna try to do it live and see. If I don't like it, can always erase it. There's only 0 viewers, so who cares, huh? I do. So let's get started. Draw. So I was born in a little hospital, about 30 minutes from the big city of Paris. It was called Saint Cloud. And here I was, the little baby crying. I was almost born in an elevator. I remember my mom told me that she almost fell down an elevator. But lucky me, I was born on the bed. So that's good. My mom was driving a big van. It was a big blue van. And I had 6 brothers and sisters. And I was right in the middle. And with that van, we go on a lot of trips. We had another house east, 400 miles east of a village that we go to every Easter for like 15 years. Every summer, we all decided on which vacation we wanted to go to all over the world. We all had about 4 or 5 hobbies, like swimming, like tennis, and like dancing. I did dance once a week, tennis every Saturday, and 2 or 3 nights a week I was swimming. And on weekends we had vacation. And then when we grew up, we had other sports like taekwondo, and I think I took some acting class, drawing class, and some maybe I even tried cricket once and ping pong, I believe. So in my small village, they were my pen's not working. Church where there was a lot of wedding going on in that church. There was a big ring, and every hours the bell would ring. And a school was really about 200 meters from a house. It's not gonna be good if I can't draw. Unfortunately, can you have a pen? Because this is live and my pen is not even working right. Well, I'm just gonna pretend it's working. Okay, so I'm trying to draw right here. This is the school, and that's 200 meters. This is my house. There's a street right here, so I just have to cross here. Until I was 10, when I moved to high school, I had to take a bus. The bus was about 500 meters down my street. I'd get on the bus 15 miles, and then I go to high school for 4 years. Before the last year of high school, I went to a theater school. First, I went to a private school near Paris, which was a very expensive school where there was a lot of literature and poetry and philosophy, and it was really based on literature and also performing. And then choral and singing and things like this. So it was a really good school. And after that school, I went to the theater school, who was in near Toulouse, 10 hours from where I was. So I'd take the train and I'd stay there for 3 weeks, and then I'd come back home. And I miss all my friends. I had tons of friends, and we all had either a motorcycle or a scooter or a car. We always trade every weekend. We go to somebody else's house, we play pool, have dinners, watch movies, meet new people, have a lot of parties. Let's see. When I after that, I went to a pharmacy school, which was more centered in in a rural department, so it was far away from a suburban that I knew, when I was used to. I had to take 2 buses and a train just to go there, which was really annoying. Sometimes I had to take my scooter, leave it at the train station, then go all the way there. I didn't make that many friends over there. The atmosphere wasn't really good. The schooling wasn't really good. I only spent a year and a half, but when I was there, I was going to work as an apprentice in a childcare center, and I made really good connection, and I love that job. I was really good at it. So and I was in my village, so I worked there for almost 2 or 3 years until I was 18 and a half. I knew that I had only a year before we moved to the States, so I took that year off to travel and try a new job. Like I went to Paris. I wanted to try my new job in Paris, so I went to do dishes in a restaurant in Paris. Then I did waiter in another restaurant, and then I basically just party and went from club to club. Then one time with my friend, we took my car, went all around 200 or 300 miles away from our village, and we did all the nightclubs for a few weeks, so like a month I think we did that. And then I had huge parties, drinking, and all this, and goodbye party just to go. And then I was 19, I flew away and went. After that, I kept connection for 5 years. Then I went to about a year. At first, we started working at my parents' restaurant. So I was doing a prep and cooking and cleaning for about less than a year. And then I started in a deli. I worked as a deli attendant in a store. And then I was keeping contact with my friends. I had some visitors too. Then we enjoyed Miami, all the great things Florida had to offer for you too. But I didn't know what I wanted to do, so my mom mentioned to massage therapy school, which I wasn't really feeling at first, but I said, why not? I try. My goal at first was to be a manager for a nightclub or a bartender, which I did actually, did do bartending. And I even tried shot girl one time in a club. So after that, I graduated. I went to school. I made a friend or two in there. And then we made more friends. My brother had friends who were going to college. We had party with them. So then I graduated. I met a French woman there. She was older than me. Her name was Paula. We kept contact years later. After that, kind of lost connection, went back to France. And then after working 3 years as a massage therapist, I kind of got bored. I wanted to enter into a new field. I was indecisive. I tried to do yoga and then Reiki and then other things. Then I tried neuromuscular therapy, and then I wanted to go into alternative medicine. And then I got into travel, which I realized travel was more my feet. And I went to event planning and travel school while I was in Washington, just before the birth of my son. So after I flew to Washington, I went to school to be a flight attendant, but then they found out, and I had a background, so I wasn't able to get a job for any airline. It's too bad because I was really good in class. I had all A's, which is not something usually I do. I made some pretty good connection, pretty good friend. I even had a boyfriend over there. So when that didn't work out at school, then I went into a cruise ship. 3 weeks after the cruise ship, I realized I was pregnant with one of the guys from school. I had to get an abortion, so I got off the boat. Met a guy who was a taxi driver who drove me to the interview. That guy turned out to be the father of my son. While I was pregnant, I was doing a study to be an egg donor. They found out that when my ovary wasn't working properly, so I got worried, and that's during that period that I actually got pregnant. After that, I kind of got into many relationship here, and then just too much party, and then up, and then I go there, and then I drive there, then I try a bunch of different jobs. Then I was a dependent massage therapist for a while. I got all my clients coming to my house. I work at the market. I graduated from school, and I got into another school, and then I sold beauty products. Then I work as a tutor, and I volunteer in some school after school program, and I recruited parents for some program while I was there. When I turn between 28 and 30, things got really alone, really sad. I was kind of alone with my little baby pushing my stroller, drinking too much. I kind of felt isolated in the state all by myself. I was a little bit stuck, abusive life, abusive relationship. I didn't know where to turn. I was doing a lot of online program, online schooling. So I got into art. I did started to paint again, draw, and started to write too. So I was doing a lot of contests, a lot of painting. Meanwhile, I was doing that. I was driving a van, and I did another study to sold my egg for 50,000, but by the time I finally qualified, the first time I wasn't supposed to get food stamps to qualify. The second time I was too old. I was 1 year too old, so I didn't get it. So after all the process and all this, nothing. I was always hoping, I have enough for my business. In between, after all this, between 30 and 32, I ran in at a space, and I did massage, hypnosis, meditation. It was really beautiful. I had light all over. I did hydrotherapy in it too. I had lots of clients sign up while I was in Vancouver, and then I went to visit my parents. By the time I come back, my roommate at the time had destroyed an apartment, so much money, took all my money. Could not afford to pay the place I was running. I lost over 100 clients, which made things difficult. I had to sell my car. I was paying for 3 years. So now my car, I'm losing the value of 90% of the value of my $7,000 car. I get 300 for it. Things go down the drain, and I have to lose a $2,000 storage, which he had abused and manipulated to keep, and then kept all my stuff, sold all my stuff, and I'm here taking the plane. I'm like, okay, this is it. I gotta get out of here. And so I'm just flying, and then I decided to leave. And then I took the bus. First, I went back to Florida. Then I went to Nevada, found an apartment, and I was visiting, exploring everything. Then I went to Fort Myers, got a trailer over there, lived there, had a few cats. And then I went to then I started to work on a degree, but unfortunately, unexpectedly, I was sent to France to help my aunt. Just as I was starting my degree, my art degree, to be a museum lead teacher or art teacher, and so they didn't have any Wi-Fi more than 3 days a week, which was really hard to study. After not even a month, I failed, and I lost over $5,000. And then 5 years later, they took over 9,000 for training. I only had a month off. So it was a big loss because I didn't get the degree. I lost all the money, and all I got from it is a little bit of training. So that's a disadvantage. So anyway, in the mountain, I had my aunt a lot. I walked the nature trail a lot, the volcanoes, beautiful sunsets. Enjoyed the French food again. It was pretty nice, and did not meet a lot of people. I tried to get a casino job. There was no daycare. who could watch my son in the evening or anybody that I knew. I was really hard to make friendship. I finally got a place to live. The woman was totally insane. She'll come any time of the day and night in my place. She'll suck up on people's electric. I mean, it was insane. I had to leave. I just said, that's it. I tried. I need to go. This is not going to work out. My son did go to school for a month in a French school. He was 2.5 or 3, I believe. And I took my... So I said, that's it. I'm taking a train. Here's the train over here. I'm taking the bus. I'm taking my 5 luggage, my little stroller. Yay! And then I'm taking a plane and I'm flying back to USA. So, like you see, you can tell it's a big roller coaster. See? Trying to keep up with it, that's huge. I mean, now that I finally regained clarity. I remember I used to be lost in space of like, okay, was it in 2008 or 2009? Because it's confusing, it's because I went back to Florida a few times for vacation, and I went back to leave when I went to Fort Myers, then went back to Washington, and then France in between, then went back. So it's confusing the period, like in between I'm trying to keep up. So I gave it a last chance when I went back to Washington, but I didn't stay long. I stayed in a motel for 3 weeks with my son's dad. Things got so bad, and then I went to Nevada, and then at the end of that, 6 months later, I went back to Florida. And that's it. 5 years now, been here. And since then, I built my art company, my public charity, the Creative Art 16. Started my new podcast. I started 2 wonderful groups on Facebook. Had a lot of supporters, wonderful people. Started to write more. Writing my first play. I wrote over 12 books and produced 8 audibles. So really now what I have left to do is either finding a business location where I live in it, or at least having my own place would be nice. And the aim for 2018. That was hard. Wait.